everybody. My name's Chris, and I am the founder of Luki Bike Adventures. We've got about 50 bikes. I haven't actually counted. I probably should, but I believe it's around 50 at this point. They were all either donated or I bought them used super cheap. And so now I have the task of going through all of them and figuring out if they are worth fixing, if they're going to be good for us to use on our bike adventures, or if I'm going to fix them up and rehome them, or basically just what am I going to do with these things and all that. And so it's a lot of work, but fortunately, I am a bike mechanic and I enjoy working on bikes, and it's a good cause that I actually care about. So, it's a Tuesday night well spent, in my opinion. So, let's get to it. Um, in this video, I wanted to show you guys just how to quickly go over a bike and figure out, just kind of give it a quick little inspection to see where you're at, what needs to be worked on, what kind of condition it's in, whether it's a bike that you're thinking about buying, like especially a used one, or if it's, your own bike before you take it to a shop or something, or you just kind of want to just know, you're just kind of curious. So that's what this video is all about. This is the bike that I'm working on right now. This is a Schwinn Sidewinder. This is one that was donated to me just a few days ago from another organization in Detroit. And it's a cool bike, but it is a bit rusty and it definitely needs some work, but it's not in terrible shape. So before the first thing I do before I even put it into the stand, and I actually already did this because I wasn't thinking to make a video at first, but I'm gonna just back up for you just a little bit. The first thing I do is I take out the seat post and just take a look at it to see. I've got some grease in here, and so I like to put some grease on here. Clean off any rust if I can. I want to make sure that it can actually come out and it can move and be adjusted, that it's not cracked or damaged or any kind of way. And that's what I do before I even put it in a stand. Step one. And a lot of times I'll put the seat back on crooked just because so that I know that it's so, like, if I put it and it's kind of sort of straight, then looking at it, I might think that the seat is properly adjusted and straight. But if I put it cockeyed like that, then I know that I haven't actually straightened it out and I need to actually go back and pay attention and get it nice and straight and level and all that. So that's what I do a lot of times. So the next thing I'm going to do before I put it up on the stand is I'm going to check the suspension. So this has a front suspension and it's... Let me see, I'm going to hold on to the brakes. It really is. We're getting minimal movement. I'm getting some if I put all my weight on it and like really push. I'm getting some minimal movement there. So it's pretty seized. I don't know if these forks are serviceable. I do have some fork oil or lubricant or whatever that I can maybe try putting in there and see if I can work it. I don't know. Forks are one of the more expensive components. So that's a bit of a bummer because this bike is cool and it has disc brakes. It's the only one that I got picked up that has disc brakes so far. So, well, let's put it in the stand and see what else we can find. So I'm just going to open this up. And this is a park tool stand, and so it's got this type of deal where you can, the mouth opens and closes, but you want to open it up, spinning it like that. Put this heavy freaking bike in there. And then close it with a clamp to get it close, and then tighten it the rest of the way. And then when you're taking the bike out, you don't want to just try to lever this down. You want to backspin, and then you can open it up. I'm not real sure why, to be honest. not sure why, but that's just the way you're supposed to do it. I think it might damage it. I'm not sure how it damages it. I might ask somebody else about that. I don't know. That's just the way I was taught to do it. So, when you're checking out the bikes, there's they say to like do like an M shape. So if we back up some, you can start on one end, and if you go up, start here, and then come up, and then down, and then up, and then down, it makes an M, and that covers realistically the entire bike. That's a great approach to take, especially if you're new and trying to make sure you get everything. Just kind of have a orderly way of doing it. I don't know that I always follow that. I kind of just move forward. But that's something you can do. So let's start here. The first thing I notice is the tires are completely worn. Like there is no tread whatsoever. And there's also, if I squeeze it, let's see, you guys will come over here and take a look. Get it nice and close. So if I squeeze it here, you can see little openings there. See how it opens up? So there's no tread whatsoever. It's just completely smooth, and squeezing it like that, you get, there's a lot of them in different places. So these tires are shot. You're just going to get, if you attempt to ride this thing, you're just going to get a bunch of flats is what's going to happen. And you're not going to have any traction. So that's the first thing. Second, I'm going to just grab, maybe back up a little bit, give me a little bit of room. I'm just going to grab the sides here and the frame, and I'm just going to try to push. I'm pushing this way and this way. So I'm doing a push-pull like that, trying to push it and pull it, perpendicular. And there's a tiny bit of movement there. You want none, ideally. Ideally, no movement. There's a teeny tiny bit. It's really not bad at all. So if there is movement, that means that the hub here either needs some adjustment. It's loose. So depending on what kind of bearings are in there, they may need to be replaced. They may need to be just greased. And maybe it just needs to be tightened. It just kind of depends. We'll know once we take it apart. It actually isn't bad, though. Then, while we're checking out the tire still, we got the kickstand up so it's out of the way. Just give it a spin. And you kind of want to see if there's going to be, we want it to stay perfectly vertical. We don't want the wheel to be kind of making weird wavy shapes. We want it to stay pretty straight, and this does. And I have a lot of times put my finger or a pen or something to kind of gauge and feel. So this is surprisingly straight. You can also give the spokes a squeeze, see if any of them are loose or going to pop off. That's a good idea. But seeing how it's so straight, I'm not too worried about the spokes. Moving forward, I'm going to do the exact same thing with the cranks here. Now there's a lot of side-to-side play here. So the bottom bracket, maybe it's loose enough where moisture has gotten in and now it's rusted and messed up and we need a new one. Maybe it just needs to be tightened and greased. Don't really know. Won't know until I take it apart, but that is something that needs to happen there. The pedals, well, the other pedal I noticed earlier is shot. So you take a look at that. That's not supposed to be like that. So we need a new pedal for sure. I don't know if you can see it better here, how it's moving. But that's pretty good. The shifting, this is a decent derailleur on here. It's a Shimano Tourney. It's their entry-level model, but it's a decent one, and it's on a lot of bikes. And it does not seem to be bent or damaged in any kind of way. It moves freely, so that's awesome. Let's take a look at the chain. I got a chain checker somewhere around here. I thought it was in my pocket, but it's not. And so this has 0.75, 0.5. And the way this works is you stick it on here. Let's see, maybe you can see better up here. So you stick the hook end here, and then you just let it fall. Oh, and that falls right in between the links, and there's even some wiggle room, and that's on the 0.75 side. So that means that this chain is quite stretched. Yeah, well, it drops in no issue. You can flip over, do the other side. So that's 75% and 50%. 50% means you can keep riding your bike. The chain is worn, but it's working. Think about changing the chain out soon. Keep an eye on it, is what 50% means generally. If you're, more anxious, you can go ahead and change it, but you have some riding left on it. Once it gets to 75, you're starting to do damage. So you want to change it immediately. So this chain is junk, and it possibly has damaged the teeth of the cassette here. So that's potentially a problem. Again, that's something I won't know until actually I probably do a test ride or, try to see what's going on. But we for sure need a new chain. But seems pretty good. I'm going to give the brakes a squeeze. And they do work. It functions. I can see it actuating. That feels fine. It's not even rubbing or anything. Or is it? Yeah, there might be a little bit of rubbing, but not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, now we're going to move up to the front of the bike. Oh, you know what? We forgot the front derailleur. That's completely broken. So that's something that needs to be replaced, or just maybe not even use it at all. Just use it as a single speed in the front, perhaps. All right, so the front, I want to make sure that the handlebars spin freely. And for the most part, this feels pretty smooth. However, it kind of stops. Now, the cables are all kind of jankety here, and maybe that's causing some interference. But I think we probably need to take that apart, clean it, check out the bearing situation, and see what's going on. But it actually feels pretty good doing this by hand. Like, I don't feel damage. I don't hear grinding or anything. Considering how rusted and frozen the shocks are, yeah, that's not bad. Check the front brake. A little squeaky, but it works. Now I can see as I hit the brake, the tires kind of jumping side to side. And yeah, there's quite a bit of play there. So basically all the hubs and bearings on this bike need to be checked out. But again, the wheel is pretty straight. Tires are shot. Same as the rear. And that's basically it. The grips on this guy are not in terrible shape. I don't like the way they feel. They feel kind of icky, but they're not damaged. They do spin a little bit, I notice, especially in the front here. So I can spin that, which you don't want. So I'll replace these as well. And I guess it is kind of tearing a little bit there. It's not terrible. So it's got nice components on it. It's got the trigger shifters. It's integrated with the brakes. The brakes levers and whatnot are working. Last thing is I do have to go through and just really look at the frame, make sure there's no cracks or anything like that. But aside from that, this bike is in pretty good shape. Mostly, kind of. So the main thing that's problematic is the suspension. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I can, maybe there's a suspension on a different bike. Maybe I can get one inexpensively. Maybe I can overhaul this one and grease it up and get it working. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. The rest of the stuff, pretty easy fixes. Gonna get new cables on it, new grips. Haven't decided on the front derailleur. Put a new chain on it. We'll see how it goes. Test ride it. It might be good. Tires. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about this one. Um, if you are feeling generous and you're interested and want to help out, you can go to our website and you'll find a picture of this bike and a description of everything it needs and a estimated cost, and you can buy all the parts. Click on buy or whatever, it'll go to your shopping cart, and you're not buying the bike, you're buying the parts, so that basically giving me money so that I can buy those parts and fix this bike. So that's something that you can do on our website. You can also go to GoFundMe, donate that way, or Cash App is actually the best because no fees with that one. I just use the card to buy the parts, so there's no fees that I have to pay. Whereas the other two, they actually take a little cut. So, um, thanks for watching. Hopefully, this was interesting or helpful to you in some kind of way. Thank you to everyone who has already made donations, whether it's a bike or emotional support or financial donations. It's all really appreciated. We are moving full speed ahead to make this happen and get some kids some bikes and get them riding out in our state parks and metro parks. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.